Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Ishavasyamidam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bhunjitha Magridhah Kasya Svidhanam Kurvannebhah Karmani Jijivishechatam Samaha Evam Tvainan Yathetosti Na Karma Lipyate Nare Suryanamate lokandhena tamasa vritaha tanste pretyabhigachanti ye kechatmahano janaha anejadekam manaso javiyo nainadevapnuvan purvamarshat tadhavato nyanati eti tishthat tasminnapo matarishvadadhati Tadejati tannaijati taddure tadvantike tad antar asya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya bhahyataha yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevanupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate yasmin sarvani bhutanyatmaiva bhudvijanataha Tatra kumohah shokva ekapashyataha saparyagat shukarmakayam avranamasnaviram shuddham papavidham kavirmanishi paribhu swayambhu yathathatyatorthan vyadadhat shashvatibhyah samabhyah Andham tamaf pravishanti ye vidyamupasate tato bhuya ivate tamoya umidam rataha anyadevahu vidyaya anyadahura vidyaya iti shushrumadhiranam yenastadvichachakshire vidyancha vidyanchayastadvedo bhaya saha avidyam Andham tamah pravishanti ye sambhavasate tato bhuyatam rataha anyadevahu sambhavadanyada iti shushrumadhiranam yenastat vichachakshire Sambhutincha vinashancha yastadvedo bhayasaha Vinashenam mrityum tirtva sambhutyam mrityam Hiranmayena patrena satyasya hitam mukham tattvam pusham naparna satya dharmaya drishtaya. So here we stopped. This was the new shloka. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham. And this the face of the truth is covered with a brilliant golden lid. That do thou remove, O fosterer. Tattvam pushan apavrenu. For the law of the truth, for the sight, satya dharmaya drishtaye. This is the shloka which is commented by the mother when she broke the golden lid, the bronze door in 1956, as you know, and opened up on 29th of February. She opened up the door to the supermind. And she says she took this huge hammer and hit with all power into this bronze door, which was holding the entrance of the spiritual force, and the light was pouring into the earth atmosphere, from the supermind. And she refers to this image in the Isha Upanishad, that there is similar image. So the face of the truth, Satyasya Mukham, Apihitam, is covered by the golden lid, by the golden door. It's like lid is usually round, yeah? Like a safe, a huge safe, from us to reach to the treasure. So that safe lid has to be broken, open. That you, Opushan, open for the one whose law is the truth, for the sight, for the seeing of the truth, or by the truth. It's also interesting because for seeing, for the sake of seeing, for sight, is difficult to understand because we understand sight as reflective. We do not see sight as creative. But if you see that the vision can be as a creative light which enters into our atmosphere, so the light is shining from the eyes as if, then if the consciousness is illumining things and brings them into the proper position towards the truth, then of course it is something else altogether. And it could be that these two words are going together. For the sight which brings the law of the truth, because this sight, the vision, the true vision of things, will put all dharmas into proper position to the truth. And that is the supramental vision. In the supramental plane, all things find their own proper divine position. All things have, so to say, the divine prototype in the supermind. Sri Aurobindo says there is none here in this world which is not from that supermind plane. It is only misplaced, put into wrong context, into wrong time. But truly speaking, if everything finds its place and time, everything will become true. It's this mixture of things, this partiality which creates the ignorance. So once all things find their proper positions, proper contexts, the truth will shine through. Which is kind of interesting. It's so little to do, just to find everything right place and right time for everything. And Sri Aurobindo somewhere says that we are all representing the truth. Everything in this world is a symbol of some higher truth, divine truth. We are symbols of that truth because we are misplaced. But if we are properly placed, we stop being symbols. We become representatives, projections, embodiments of that truth. So that lid has to be removed. That lid which is not permitting the true sight of consciousness to enter and put every dharma into its proper position. And when we speak about every dharma, we mean that everything has a dharma behind, a particular law of existence. We have also many dharmas in our life, many different dharmas. The dharma of the partner, the dharma of the father, of the son, the mother, the dharma of the citizen, of the worker at the factory, and so on and so forth. So many dharmas are imposed on us. And these dharmas are the modalities of our action according to the truth. And these dharmas contradict constantly contradict. The dharma of the citizen may contradict with the dharma of the father or husband and so on. In the times of war, these dharmas always contradict. And you have to choose which dharma to follow, what to do. Right. And in the supramental vision, all these dharmas will find their proper context and will not contradict. And this is something interesting. There will be no contradiction. There will be only efficient contribution of every dharma to every dharma. Can you imagine such a state? It's really difficult to imagine that everyone will be happy with everyone. And Sri Aurobindo describes supermind in a beautiful way. He says, if you can imagine that in this oneness of multitude of things, one thing would require help, or there will be a need in one corner of this infinite being. Some need, something insignificant, very small, then the whole system will immediately rush to fulfill that need. You can imagine that that's why there is no need kind of coming up in the supermind, because the whole system is responsible for everybody's smallest need. So that's why there is no need. Everything is in its right context and time and space. Though of course it is beyond our time and space. So if you impose that modality on our life, and somebody was saying this, if suppose I have a bicycle at home, yes, but I don't use my bicycle all the time. I can use it when I go to work, but then when I come to work, I can leave it there, and that can be used by somebody else. Somebody else can take and use that bicycle. Why that bicycle should stand the whole day waiting for me to come to use it again? Or I have motorbike in the garage which is not used for months and months standing there. Why that should stand? So if supramental law would be imposed or brought into action, then all things will be efficiently used. So I take my bicycle, come to work, leave the bicycle. Bicycle is taken by somebody else, went somewhere else, did something. The bicycle is taken by somebody else. And that would be the proper usage of things. Then we don't need to have, um, 20 million bicycles on Earth, because we are only 6 million people. We don't need to have 20 of them. So the same with food, the same with clothes, the same with everything. I don't need to have a full wardrobe of things which I don't use, or I don't need to have full fridge of things which I don't eat. I don't need this. This thing of having extra is the fear of being inefficiently using things, because the supramental vision is not there. But if supramental vision is there, then everything is efficiently used. We have enough for everyone, everything, to have in abundance of things. But we can't use it because we don't have that vision. So once it comes in, there will be completely different law of existence, the law of the truth. So this is maybe the only Upanishad, also Shvetashvatara, which speaks about supramental consciousness directly. Yeah? Sri Aurobindo says this, and Shvetashvatara mentions also it. Otherwise, Upanishads do not go that far. I think Benedetta is coming. Mm. And that, of course, supramental consciousness brings also the ideal of human unity, because all human beings become united, and the respect to every individual and to every culture, every nation uh, will be there from everybody's side. It's not only I will respect everyone, but everyone will respect me in the same way. So there will be no conflict. Nowadays there are conflicts because somebody doesn't respect something or someone, or someone wants to change others according to his own ideals. And many religions want to convert others because they think that their way of living and understanding the world is better. There will be no such attitude anymore. Right. And then, number 15, Pushan Ekarshe Yama Surya Prajapatya Vyuharashmin Samuha Tejo Yatte Rupam Kalyanatamam Tatte Pashyami Yo Sao Asao Purusha Sohamasmi. O fosterer, O soul seer, O ordainer, O illumining sun, O power of the Father of creatures, marshal thy rays, draw together thy light, the lustre, which is thy most blessed form of all, that in thee I behold, the Purusha there and there, he I am. Hi Benedict. Welcome to Paris. Yeah? And here these Vedic gods are mentioned one after the other. Pushan. Pushan was mentioned even before. Pushan is the solar deity Aditya, who is growing within the matter. This is this sun growing within the matter, which is a very unusual concept. Sun growing within the matter. How sun can grow within the matter if sun is there? No? It seems that there is a hidden sun within the matter which is growing. Within the inconscient, there is a hidden divine sun which has to grow and overgrow and give light and energy to every being here in the physical creation. So this is Pushan, from root push, to grow, to become vast, to become strong. So the truth is growing from within, and that is Pushan. It is him who will open the lid to the supermind, to the face of the truth, to see the face of the truth. So it is him again, or Pushan, or that growing or fosterer, the one who fosters the creation from within by the truth. Ekarshe, or soul seer, one rishi. Yama, ordainer. Prajapatya, Surya, Surya, or illumining sun. Prajapatya, or power of the father of creatures. Vyuha, Rashmin, spread thy rays. Sri Aurobindo says, marshal thy rays. Samuha, gather tejas, thy brightness. So gather thy brightness and spread your light. So intensify your light and spread it all over. And that form of yours, which is the most auspicious, the most beautiful, the most blessed, Kalyanatamam Tate Pashyami, I see. I behold. Yo Asau, and that is which is the one. Asau Purusha, that Purusha. Sohamasmi, that is me, that I am. I am that universal Purusha. Now this is the recognition of the Rishi where he realizes that his individual self is universal, of universal nature. That is the opening to the supermind. Sri Aurobindo gives here some notes. Let us go through them. Number 10. In the inner sense of the Veda, Surya, the sun god, represents the divine illumination of the Kavi, which exceeds mind and forms, the pure self-luminous truth of things. His principal power is self-revelatory knowledge, termed in the Veda sight. So sight is not just seeing the reflected light, it is the self-revelatory knowledge. So it is rather creative. So the sight is like a beam of light which is coming from the eye. The Surya, the sun, is considered to be the eye of the gods. Why the eye is beaming the light? Because that light will come into the darkness and illumine and give us a right perspective on things, give us knowledge from where things are and what they are. So seeing is not just a reflectory device, organ of reflection of light. It is the organ of recognition of how things are, where they are, how they relate, the mosaic of things, of the selves, in what picture they are, in what relations. His realm is described as the truth, the law, the vast, Satyam Ritam Brihat. He is the fosterer or increaser, for he enlarges and opens man's dark and limited being into a luminous and infinite consciousness. He is the sole seer, seer of oneness and knower of the self, and leads him to the highest sight. He is Yama, controller or ordainer, for he governs man's action and manifested being by the direct law of the truth, Satya Dharma, and therefore by the right principle of our nature, Yatha Tathyata, from the previous verse. A luminous power proceeding from the Father of all creatures, from the Father of all existence, He reveals in himself the divine Purusha of whom all beings are the manifestations. His rays are the thoughts that proceed luminously from the truth. His rays are the thoughts that proceed luminously from the truth, the vast, but become deflected and distorted, broken up and disordered in the reflecting and dividing principle, mind. They form there the golden lid which covers the face of the truth. The seer prays to Surya to cast them into right order and relation, and then draw them together into the unity of revealed truth. The result of this inner process is the perception of the oneness of all beings in the divine soul of the universe. Hmm. So, and here these names are also all very much charged. Rishi Yama. Yama is Actually, later in the post-Vedic literature, is the Lord of Death. But here he is the ordainer, or the sun god. He represents Surya. And Yama, as you know, was the first man who died and who traveled back to the source of his where he came from. So he found the way back to the source from which we all come. And he remained there in that higher source. And from there, he kind of controls the situation, the trafficking of the souls. We are all his, so to say, responsibility. All our souls, which are coming from the plane of the psychic being, where we all rest, from that plane of the truth, of the bliss, of the divine bliss, we all come down here, and then we need to find way back. So how to find way back? You may be lost somewhere in this infinity. How would you go there back to your home where you came from? So he is there. He was first who found the way back to the source from which we came, from the place of the fathers. And from there, he helps us to come back. So that's why Yama sends his messengers to help the soul out. In the Vedas, these are two Sarameya dogs, which have 4 eyes. They look around. And these two Sarameya dogs, they accompany the soul to the place of its rest, that none of the aggressive creatures of the dark may attack the soul in this journey. So Yama is taking care of us here, that the soul will come back to its place. It's kind of interesting, yes? So he's, in the later literature, he is the Lord of Death, because he sends the dutas, the messengers, to take the soul and bring it there. So he was proclaimed to be the Lord of Death, but he is not the Lord of Death. No way. He is not the killer of the body. He's the savior of the soul. So the body is killed by some other device. But once it is destroyed, the soul is free. The soul needs help. And Yama is here to help. And not just to. But in Savitri already in the Mahabharata, Yama comes as the Lord of Death, and a very scary figure with red eyes, black mask, and Savitri is, talking to him and trying to convince him. But what is interesting, he is the Lord of Dharma at the same time. And he listens to Savitri and he helps her out. He gives her all the boons. How come, if he is the Lord of Death? Why should he give boons to Savitri, who speaks the truth? There are many contradictions with this view. And the final drop in all this was, for me, to discover that Yama is not the Lord of Death, was Sri Aurobindo's Savitri, where Sri Aurobindo uses all the names, Savitri, Satyavan, Dyumatsena, Shvapati, all the names, except one, Yama. He doesn't call the Lord of Death Yama in his Savitri. It is the Lord of Death, never Yama. And that is the indicator that there must be some reason for that. You name everyone from the story except the Lord of Death, because Yama is not the Lord of Death. He is the Rishi, the first representative of our souls, of psychic beings who left the body and found way back. And what is interesting, maybe it is time to say it, because when else we will have time to speak about Yama. Yama has a sister, twin sister, Yami. And there is a hymn about Yama and Yami in the Rig Veda, which is very famous because the Western scholars believe that it was the first movement away from incest. So because Yama and Yami wants to be with Yama together as one couple. And Yama tells that it is not okay for brother and sister, that she has to go and find some other husband, and he will go. And so she's very angry with him. She says that it is, you have no heart, no mind, you're stupid. We were meant to be together. We were born together. They're twins. And he doesn't agree. And in the later literature, when he goes away, that means he travels back to the origin, to the plane where the souls are. Yami is left alone on earth. And she cries and cries. And the gods created day and night that she may forget that separation from Yama. And slowly overnight, she started to forget that connection. Just look at this beautiful mythical image that night helped her to disengage from her brother soul. So who is this Yami? What is she doing here on this side? Not in heaven, but on earth. As twin sister of Yama. Yama is there controlling our souls. When the souls die, the messengers come, take soul. Or in Savitri, Yama himself comes to Satyavan to fetch his soul. And Savitri asks, why didn't you send your messengers? And he says, I don't trust them. This Satyavan is too dear for me. So I want to take care of him myself. Too dear. So he has to really bring him to that place. And who is Yami then? Why is she on this side? Where is she actually? And that is the answer I found only in the mother. There is a booklet which is called The Psychic Being. I highly recommend you to read it. There is a compilation of everything Mother and Sri Aurobindo say on the soul, of how we reincarnate, what happens after death when we leave the body, when we come back, when we embody, what happens then, how soul finds the way where to come. And Mother describes that the soul from its own plane sees the light, winking of the light, like somebody with flashlight gives you the indication that you can go there. Yeah? So you make a plan as a soul, what you want to achieve, realize in the embodiment, and then you see that here light, there light, and you can plunge into it, and you will be embodied. You can choose that place. Yeah? So because it fits your requirements, it fits your plan. It's kind of interesting. And I was thinking, who is making those lights from that side? And that is Yami. Yeah, the twin soul. So our soul is as if split. Yeah? The one part is on earth and other part is in heaven, as if. That's why the unborn self, Jivatma, could make a projection, and that projection became psychic presence, and from that psychic presence the sparks become individuals because of that projection. There is someone on the other side, on the other shore, is controlling the process of embodiment. On the heavens side there is Yama, and on the earth side is Yami. Twins, brother and sister. Kind of interesting. The new ideas are coming with the mother. Otherwise, it's very difficult to explain where Yami, what's she doing there on that side on Earth. Right. So this is Yama. Surya is the sun. It's usually the symbol of the supramental sun, which later in post-Vedic tradition disappears, and sun becomes one of the deities, not very important, and not very friendly, rather hostile, because it burns and it destroys. So But in the Veda, it is the plane of the truth. Right. And then there are two more shlokas to end the whole uh, Upanishad. Vayur anilam amritam athedam bhasmantam shariram om krato smara kritam smara krato smara kritam smara. The breath of things is an immortal life. But of this body, ashes are the end. Om, O will, remember that which was done. Remember, O will, remember that which was done. Remember. There are two footnotes. Vayu, called elsewhere Matarishwan, the life energy in the universe. In the light of Surya, he reveals himself as an immortal principle of existence, of which birth and death and life in the body are only particular and external processes. So the life energy is filling the external framework of the physical nature, and it's immortal. Only physical is mortal, basically. Vital and even subtle physical is already vital. All the planes beyond physical are immortal planes. And number 12, the Vedic term krato means sometimes the action, sometimes the effective power behind action, represented in mental consciousness by the will. Agni is this power. He is the divine force which manifests first in matter as heat and light and material energy, and then taking different forms in the other principles of man's consciousness, leads him by a progressive manifestation upwards to the truth and the bliss. In the Life Divine, Sri Aurobindo beautifully describes how this Agni energy, first very smoky when it burns lower, so to say, strata of our existence, then it is very aggressive, dynamic, destructive, creates a lot of smoke because that which he burns is very raw and is not easily burned. But with the movement up, it becomes more and more sublime. In the vital realm, it becomes vital energy. In the mental realm, mental energy. And in a higher, over mental energy, and even higher, the supramental energy. So basically, this is the same Agni on each level has completely different characteristics. The same one. So we blame that on the lower level there is this kind of tough changes taking place, burning, painful, destructive. But that is exactly the divine force which is engaged, making more suitable forms, more subtle forms, breaking through them. Yeah? And that explains why Sri Aurobindo loved Heraclitus and his statement about the war. The war is the father of all things, because it's through that struggle, through that clash, yeah, the energy can come and beam through, evolve. Um, and this verse is used usually in the burial ceremonies, yes? So when there is somebody dies, this is the verse which is referred to. So remember what was done. It's very important, it seems, to remember what was done, because then the proper plan for the next incarnation can take place. You can really bring with that, with yourself, in your memory, in the psychic memory, what you did, and create a proper plan. In some literature they say that the proper plan is created in the moment of dying already. When we are dying, we see the whole life as a one movie, very fast, with all the events. And when that movie is running through our consciousness, we already know what we have to do. So the whole plan, the whole idea, the whole intention is being formulated by overviewing what was done in the previous. So here this the same, remember what was done, because on that film, on that kind of presentation, depends our future engagement. So if I don't remember anything, if my consciousness is scattered suddenly, so suppose I am in some accident and I didn't really make an effort to concentrate, and I lost the whole track. Who am I and what was with me? And I can't gather. I didn't do anything, it seems. What I lived, I don't remember. Then it becomes a big problem. These souls can be easily misled, can be, stuck somewhere in the occult planes, and even they can be abused by some other creatures, vital creatures, and misused and so on. So in this sense, we need help. I remember in one case of this, mother speaks about someone who was in the accident, one sadhak, and he died. But his consciousness got scattered, bits and pieces everywhere. It's like body, parts of the body were scattered as he was in the accident. The same consciousness. One bit went there, the other bit went there. They were not coherent. They didn't belong to the same life. So she did what she did. She took all those bits and pieces and put together for him, that he would regain his memory, regain his comprehension of who he is, what happened to him. And then once that takes place, everything else comes into order. It's kind of interesting about our memory, huh? And actual for us as human beings, how to die. We have to prepare to die properly, to be most effective in the next incarnation, to do more work. Well, this is not a scientific approach, of course, but still. Right. Remember who you are. You remember Lion King. Remember. You see, Lion King, he forgot who he was. He was with those jackals, and and then that comes from the heaven, from his father. Remember who you are, and you regain yourself. You again believe in yourself. It's like soul is coming back to you or something. So important, that memory. And the last verse. Agnenaya supatharaye asman. Vishvani deva vayunani vidvan. Yuyodhyasmajjuhuranameno. Bhuyishtham te nama uktim vidhema. Godagni, knowing all things that are manifested, lead us by the good path to the felicity. Remove from us the devious attraction of sin. To thee, completest speech of submission, we would dispose. There are two notes. Sin is in the conception of the Veda, from which this verse is taken, bodily, is that which excites and hurries the faculties into deviation from the good path. It's a very good definition. Sri Aurobindo gives several definitions to sin, and this is one of those. It is that which excites and hurries the faculties into deviation from the good path. So there is a shortcut. There is some, faster path. We have to do it because we have to achieve something. We have to hurry, and that creates sin. There is no other way to create it. Otherwise, if we follow the path as it should be, there will be no sin. We will grow into consciousness. There is a straight road, a road of naturally increasing light and truth. Riyuf pantha, haritasya pantha. The paths of the truth. Straight paths. Leading over infinite levels and towards infinite vistas. Vitani, prishtani. By which the law of our nature should normally take us towards our fulfillment. Sin compels it instead to travel with stumblings amid uneven and limited tracks and along crooked windings, duritani, vrijnani. These are the Vedic terms. So there is a straight path, the sunlit path, very easy, the growth of light. And there are all these duritani, difficult paths, which are deviating, twisting, turning away from the direct path to the truth. And why? Because something in us, some vital being in us, hurries us and excites us and says, let us do it faster. Let us do it more effectively. Let us come first. We don't want to come in our time. We want to come first to succeed. We are successful men. We overtake, we overrun others. We are first there. So this idea of going faster creates this deviation from the truth. And it is very visible in the Sanskrit text. Enas, Juhurana menas, the one which causes deviation from the path. So to say, it twists, it deviates us from the truth. And the word vidhema is used of the ordering of the sacrifices, the disposal of the offerings to the god, and generally of the sacrifice of worship itself. The Vedic namas, internal and external obeisance, is the symbol of submission to the divine being in ourselves and in the world. Here the offering is that of completest submission and the self-surrender of all the faculties of the lower egoistic human nature to the divine will force, Agni, so that, free from internal opposition, it may lead the soul of man through the truth towards a felicity. Notice Sri Aurobindo's language, through the truth towards a felicity. Truth is only a means, a corridor towards the felicity. He speaks about it in the Life Divine. Truth is not our aim, it's the means to come to the felicity, full of spiritual riches. Our spiritual riches is our aim. That means the transformation of the physical nature. The state of beatitude is intended, self-content in the principle of pure love and joy, which the Vedic initiates regarded as the source of the divine existence in the universe and the foundation of the divine life in the human being. It is the deformation of this principle by egoism which appears as desire and the lust of possession in the lower worlds. And egoism creates this desire. Desire is this hurrying up of the natural process of growth of consciousness. I want it even if I don't deserve it, even if it doesn't come now. I want it already now. So I attract it, I make it possible, but because of that, I make everything crooked. I destroy and distort things on the way because it is not yet time for this thing to come and I already want it. So that's the whole simplistic vision of the Veda. And you remember we started with desire, the first shloka, that Magridha, don't lust after any, because whose wealth is it? It's your wealth, or as the Lord. Be free from everything. That means go straight. Don't go crooked way by desire. Be free means go straight. There is a straight, sunlit path. And this is the shloka of Agastya Rishi from his hymn to Agni. It is taken from the last hymn of Agastya Rishi. It's very beautiful. We will create for you the greatest surrender. O Agni, lead us by the perfect path, by the straight path to the felicity, to the riches. You, the God who knows all the paths, because he knows all the paths. You Yodhi, separate Asmat from us, Johurana Menu, the deviating temptation to deviate from the straight path. Please remove from us this temptation to deviate, and we shall create for you the greatest surrender. Bhuyishtam te nama muktim vidhema. So such a simple vision, direct and concrete. All right, very nice. I'm glad that we finished Isha Upanishad. It was a long journey, but still it was nice. Yeah, if you have something to share or to say, please to ask if something is not clear. Oh, it sounds like from another world, all these things, yes? Being there in Europe, living, running for things, suddenly all this comes like...
Wow. Vladimir, I wanted to ask something very simple. Vayu that we encountered corresponds to Vishnu as well. It's related to this, or something more about this.
Vayu? You're talking about Vayu as relating to Vishnu, this Vayu?
Yes.
Well, actually, Vishnu is of a mental godhead. Vayu is the godhead of the prana, of our antariksha, vital world. But somehow Vishnu is established through Vayu, yes, in this world. But not really in this sense. It is our breath of life, a breath of things, mortal life. But yeah, maybe. But what is your question again?
Yeah, how do they correspond? Because I also know that I think that Vishnu is also related to Krishna. Krishna being an incarnation of Vishnu, and Sri Aurobindo being related with Krishna somehow in this line.
Yeah, Krishna descended, yes, into Sri Aurobindo's body for the work. But Mother says it is not for Sri Aurobindo came down, and he came down to do this supramental, to to hasten the supramental descent, because he is the Godhead of the overmind. But in the Taittiriya, only in Taittiriya I met that Vishnu, with the help of Vayu, holds heaven and earth together. This could be the hint, yeah, how Vayu and Vishnu relate. So to say, Vayu is a pranic energy force which holds physical and mental existence in oneness and allows the transcendental Vishnu to enter. Right, but that is something beyond our um, immediate topic. So we looked into the scheme where I was saying that Antariksha, which is vital world, is also representative of Antariksha, which is coming from the transcendental world. Yeah? And the highest Antariksha is the supermind, which is separating transcendental in this world and connects them. So Antarikshas have depth. So the surface of Antariksha is the vital. We do not know what life is. What is life force? Nobody can explain that. What is life, living? It's very difficult. It's an energy of some kind. And behind that energy, there is a depth of more subtle energy. And even transcendental, supramental energy is there behind it. That's why life is so complicated. We can't really catch it. We cannot explain it. We can only experience it. The prana, the life, is a complication for the mind. Mind cannot deal with life totally. It always stumbles on life. Life always brings some unexpected, non-logical strata and studies of the mind. There was an interesting correspondence of mind and physical. Mind and physical are projected. It's like two hemispheres. So mind is projected into the physical over life realm. And life realm makes correction, makes it that projection unpredictable, not totally matching, makes mismatch between the idea and the embodiment. There is always a mismatch between the idea and the embodiment as we know it. Yeah? I have an idea that I will do this. But to do that, there are so many energies you have to master. You so many things to do. So you will be corrected on the way. That was the failure of Soviet Union. They made a plan for 5 years to produce 5 million, buttons, and in 5 years everything changed. So those 5 million buttons were not necessary because there was a shift in the fashion design, and nobody wanted buttons. Everybody wanted a zipper. So those buttons went to nowhere. So this kind of idea that you have a projection from the mind and you think that you can put it onto physical life, and it doesn't fit, because there is a factor of time and life which is always changing, fluid situation. That's what life is, energy, which is also determined by the depth of energy. And of course, in that sense, Vayu and Vishnu are related. Right. Okay. Very nice. All right. So next time we will take Kena Upanishad, which is also very, very beautiful. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
No, okay. We have to digest the first one.
Right.
I will try in 1 week.
Yeah. Well, of course, it is profound. And please read the notes, because these notes are beautiful. But it is never enough to digest totally. We are not, we are growing into this consciousness.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Thank you, Vladimir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I will finish with mantra. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.